What you see here is a table that was done by Professor Robert Haralick and also his site, definitely. And the finding is my finding. We work together. You can see a lot of our work in Professor Haralick's site, torahcode.us. And each table you will see there, you will have the statistic analyzed by Professor Haralick and clear explanation for what you see. Now, this what you see now is very, very important one because this really explains about the idea of the Bible code, which is in Hebrew Tzofen code. Now, what you are going to see, as we said, very important meetings of the words Kabbalah Mada, which is Kabbalah and science in one sentence, definitely based on the idea that Tzofen, the code in Hebrew Tzofen, which comes here, good meeting with Kabbalah and Mada, this is really the example of this phenomena of the Bible code, which very, very much now is developed by the finding with the computer, by science. So clearly seeing that the science helps Kabbalah and also shows connection. You know quite well that today many, many things were found which combine Kabbalah and science, the build-up of the atom and so on, many things, no doubt. One can see in the internet a lot about it, the DNA. So what we have here basically the most important thing. Just now we see the scientists behind these codes, but the most important is the teaching of this table is that Kabbalah and Mada, Kabbalah and science are related and coming out clearly by the code, by the Bible code. Now, the Bible code, all this research started on the year 1976, which in Hebrew is Mitav Shin Lamed Vav, the smallest skip of this date, Mitav Shin Lamed Vav, from the year 5736, which is 1976, to the time when Professor Laya Rips and Doron Witzto heard about this phenomena from the Rabbi Shmuel Yaniv, who told the story about the Rabbi Weissmandal that in his book Torah Chemet was this phenomena. Bible code, Torah code, and then when Professor Rips and Don Wissing found about it, they did the program and started building up very interesting things in the research of it. Then Professor Robert Haralick, myself definitely did a lot of things, all based on the computer, the science. Then what we have here also is good meeting of Tzofen, Code of Messiah. And this is based on what the pupil of the Vilna Gaon brings in the book, the Kol Ator, Turtle Dove, Voice of the Turtle Dove, and he brings that because the Vilna Gaon really part of the discoveries before the coming of Messiah will be all kinds to do with Hebrew letters, like Gematria, of course, everything amazing. And this is exactly what has happened. And this was the code is built up. It's built on Hebrew letters and so on, and then it goes together. So in all together, also very interesting meeting of code, Messiah the code, with Kabbalah and things. And we said also that it's very important in a Bible code meetings, good meeting, minimals, and what you see here. Now, in fact, the statistics of it is 55 to 10,000, which is 5.52 thousand, right? But as I said, the most important in the table is really the contents, the relationship between the words, the right words, Kabbalah and Madar, science and Kabbalah, with the Tzof and Mashiach, with the year when it started. So everything definitely you have here written. Now, in the sites of Professor Rips, of Professor Haralick, torahcode.us, he explains exactly what we see, like say from the technical side. One dimension of the Kabbalah science refers to the use of mathematics, computer, science, algorithmic search methods, and the discipline of probability and statistics by which proper experiments from 5736, 1976. This is the time the Torah code began to be discussed in Israel. It is the time of the beginning of the era of the Messiah, and the time of the beginning of the prophet Elijah, returning to announce the coming of the Messiah. And all this motivates the table below, which has keywords for Kabbalah of science from 5736, code Messiah and Elijah. With the expected number of ELS, the ELS is equal letter 6 and set to 100. The probability that a text from the ELS random placement text population would save as small an area table as it produced by the Torah is 55 to 10,000, 5.10,000. What we said, much more important is that the contents, which all definitely related. So, interesting to know, this is in Hebrew about Professor Haralick, but it's important to know that the main scientists which are working on the Bible code are Dr. Rothenberg, also a scientist who came from Russia, and like Professor Rips, Professor Rips, and Professor Rips told him about this phenomena. He did research about it, and he wrote a book, even all his truths about it. Became Orthodox Jews, keeping Shabbos and all the commandments, mitzvot. And he also says that these meetings and minimums are important. And here this Professor Haralick, about whom we see just now, because this is the site that we are using. And this Professor Rips, and this is Art Levitt, also scientists, they work together. And Professor Haralick, as you can see, Robert Haralick was born in Brooklyn, New York, on September 2nd, 1943. He received a BA degree in mathematics from the University of Kansas in 1964, a B.S. degree in electrical engineering in 1966, and M.S. degree in electrical engineering in 1967. In 1963, after completing his PhD at the University of Kansas, he joined the faculty of the electrical engineering department there, where he last served as professor from 1975 to 1978. In 1979, Dr. Haralick joins the electrical engineering department at Virginia Polytechnic Institute and State University. There's a lot more about him that when we speak about the area 1978, we already knew about the Bible code, but there's a lot more about him who can the internet. But definitely, this one with whom we did this work, and altogether, definitely there is a joining. So this is really the scientist myself, try to show connection of the Bible codes to Medrash, to Kabbalah, Talmud. So as I said, very, very interesting table. Many others in the code, in the site, torahcode.us. You can see there are a lot of explanation. This is the Hebrew explanation. And for Hebrew, who was Professor Haralick. So, very interesting and important, really, table, because this clearly shows that the Bible code that's often the Messianic code, and that the discovery of him is really the area. I mean, we have in the site of Professor Haralick a lot of explanation about the connection of the research of the codes we started on the year 5736, which is 1976, and Messiah, very interesting explanations of 5376, if you see in the table there. So interesting and very important, really, table, one of many about the Bible code.